killing spree. Alright, never mind. Anyway, 50-second mark winning speed. I'm gonna pretty much get this going, or at least I'll let you guys get to the right second mark before I start talking and crap. Something to note that there are a total of 4 games that involve Nineth. I'm not even sure if they win in that one. There are very few games that involve Undead, probably around that number. So there's going to be a whole mess load of Orc versus Human. This was from, as before, it was either Acon 4 or ESWC. Probably Acon 4, China. This was, I believe, a LAN event since they're all blue and red, and there's no OBS, so it pretty much has to be in person. And so we've got in this game for you, Orc versus Undead. Okay, so the Orc's perspective, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name, but the Fog of War on, due to request, I felt that it was better to just commentate on one side per game. So I'm going to be commentating on the winner's perspective, because since players are generally better than me, I can't really offer perspectives for the losing players. I'm just not that good, whatever. Unless I'm just, on my high horse and doing it. Anyway, so get to the Orc player's point of view. Fog of War on. 15-second mark. We're unpausing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unpause. Alright, so you see this normal build order. Very standard stuff. No one cares. GG. Alright. You see they're doing this sort of 4-mine build that everyone used to do back before it was changed. He's doing that whole return gold thing that makes him run faster. He's not doing it perfectly because he's just like spamming hotkeys for no reason. So he could actually accentuate his gold income just a little bit if he actually did that. But he's a noob, so what can you do? So as you can tell, he's not building himself a barracks yet. He's actually rallying to wood, so you can see it's a tech build. And so he's going to be putting peanuts on wood and doing a tech build. Right. And now my personal build, I don't know if I've said this before, but it's with the fast war mill. The reason why is that normally I have 190 wood by the time my 18th food worker finishes, so I might as well have the bonus from the war mill right away, so that my next wood can be a lot faster, rather than waiting for a while and just getting it later. Either way works, I suppose. And so this peon's going out to scout. He's at 100 wood. He's still making guys. I suppose if you go to a 17 food build, then you don't really need the war mill. So that you can get your wood faster, because the war mill will finish when your tier 2 starts, if you do an 18 peon build kind of thing. So if you do 17, I don't know, that might work better for you. So you can see right here that he'll probably get about 190 by the time 17th worker finishes, or rather 12th, I guess, since you're getting the one hero, etc. Alright, so right now you see that the peon scout's next to him, even though he's getting a Farseer, because that way you can tell which way your Farseer has to go. If he's close by, then you don't waste time, and if he's far away, well, at least you'll be heading in the right direction, and you're actually going in the right direction. So you can see that a 17 peon build does work, and he gets the war mill like I do, pretty much right away after that. Making sure that he gets the lumber income in time, of course. And so now he splits his wolves apart. As you can see right there, he actually selected just one of them. That's the only one that had the green box around it. And it was sent out to scout towards one of the bases. So you always want to summon wolves, as you can see, right as soon as your Farseer comes out, because he regenerates mana. I think I say this every time we see a Farseer harass, but, whatever. So right now the Farseer could come up a little bit closer to the trees, but he's really just waiting to see which base is revealed. He sees blights on the right-hand side, and so he goes into it. He knows he's already teching tier 2, so he's like, oh, interesting. He has some pretty quick tech, let's go harass and kill Akos. And he also notices, oh, guess what, there's no Nerubian Tower. GG. He gets the DK, and up comes the Nerubian Tower, and now you can tell this guy's going to have a lot of fun owning some Acolytes. So he keeps his Farseer back so he doesn't get owned, which is smart. But, all he's doing is focusing down the Acolytes and doing pretty well at that. So that one's going to run out of health pretty soon, especially with the extra cooldown on Coil. You notice that he actually delayed the actual summoning of more wolves because he knew that he had the cooldown at an advantage. But you look at that, a lucky shot that didn't get coiled. So that was very lucky for him, but you notice he's trying to get to this next one. Unfortunately, they all got killed. And with the slow tower, you can see that if he had the slow tower earlier, he could have chased out the Farseer and kept his Akos alive with Coil. But you notice that he lost one mid-tech by not doing that. Yes, it is halfway done, but it still hurts. And you're going to see that the Undead's probably going to make some mistakes and not even continue to do fun stuff like that. Or he's not going to continue to... oh look, a scouting acolyte that was going to come and replace itself in the mine, but he's like, I'm not having any of that, I'm going to make you 4 mine, biatch. And so he's running in there and poning it like a noob. A stupid little acolyte, mother effer in her robes, getting owned, down it goes. Haha, sucks for you. Alright, right now he could get coiled if he had mana, and he does, so GG Farseer. Oh, well that's nice, so Undead did kind of make up for some mistakes by not having the tower, by at least killing the Farseer. However, guess what? There's wolves, and they're playing the Own the Accolades game. And they're doing pretty well at it, I might say. But, you know, the wolves going to go down to the ghouls and give some free experience. So now you can see that Orc knows that he's going ghouls, right? So he's like, well, you know, I've been doing a tech build, so it's bestiary time. And putting up burrows time, because burrows can defend against ghouls pretty well. And it's just generally nice. So now you notice he's putting up a bunch of burrows really quickly right here. To make sure that he has the food for the wyvern. He notices that he does have a lot of spare cash, so he feels pretty safe in just you know, putting up 2 burrows right away, so that you can use them against rushes. And if you get hit, you know, at least they're up, and you don't have to sort of try to build them while you're getting attacked and micring and whatnot. You notice he put up the 1 burrow while he was teching, so that he could get his second hero as soon as tier 2 finished. And you're going to notice that he runs up to the tavern and picks up, dun dun dun, the Pandaren Brewmaster. GG. All right. So you notice that he's getting a Panda and a Farseer. Panda's probably one of the best Orc heroes. Still underrated, though he's still awesome. Yes, he doesn't have Brilliance Aura, but I like getting him both as Orc and as Human, I think, as good heroes. I get the Hex versus Undead, though. But otherwise, I will get a Panda versus mostly anything else. I think he's a great hero. The Missing is really kind of underrated. I think it's probably one of the best team heroes because it's capless AoE. Especially for a Human who already has Brilliance Aura. You know, that's some pretty nice area effect there. So I noticed something that kind of went over in an earlier commentary, that since you're going with the Farseer kind of thing, that's when you pretty much creep, because it's hard to sort of harass constantly with the Farseer. I know this isn't Human, but it's, you know, he's got the cold tower, so he's got the anti-harass tower, so you know that he pretty much can't do much for can't do much in the terms of harassment. So he's just kind of setting a one of Illusion Scout. I would have personally sent the Farseer out instead of the Panda, because now he knows that he's going Panda second, which kind of scares him away from Gargs. But now you notice a little ghoul attack right here. He's going to go own some burrows. And he notices that, and he's like, well, crap. So he gets in the burrows quickly, and he's using Wyvern to focus down ghouls, and he's using the burrows to help that and whatnot. But you notice he's smart, and he says, you know what, well... Okay, well, no, sorry. The Undead actually notices that he's going to lose some ghouls if he's not careful, so he actually TPs out. Also, he might have been scared by the Panda, and he really didn't need to burn a TP there, but he's probably thinking, oh no, my Acolytes, and TP'd home just in case. So that's what Wand of Illusion can do for you if your opponent's not really looking very closely. And it might have just been that the ghouls were getting killed, but I really feel it was just that he overreacted to the Wand of Illusion, because there's no real reason to TP when you could just run guys away. So right now the Orc realizes, well, I just forced a TP, I still can't harass, and right now I have the advantage because I have flyers and he doesn't, so let's go expand. And you know, so he can still do it with just his heroes pretty much. You know, so he uses the now you miss all the time spell, and is focusing the Warlord first because it has heavy armor and that can actually attack air. So he kills that, gets a nice item, gets some plus mana on the Panda, Farseer levels up, so he's getting some good AoE. He's pretty much relying on getting some strong area effect. You know, he's quite able to creep with really just the heroes and just very few Wyvern. You notice he's making the expansion because he realizes that, as I said, he has the advantage, and you know, he has the money for it, I guess, to an extent. Oh, I mean, he could make more units because he only has 40 food, but it's pretty much, I have an advantage, let's do this. It's pretty much after you win a fight, you know, that's what you do. Now, he doesn't get the Tome of Strength, which is retarded, because that is going to prove to be, you know, pretty useful as this game goes on. But, you know, what can you do? It's total imbalance. Or, not really, but whatever. Okay. So he's coming around, he's trying to pick a fight now, because he realizes, well, you know what? My opponent probably still can't hit me, so let's go try to own stuff. And now you notice there's a Slaughterhouse that's pretty much up, and a Tomb of Relics that's going up. So he notices that, well, there's going to be statues, and there can be Gargs, there can be Destroyers. You know, he doesn't really know what his opponent's doing. However, he is getting bats because he realizes, you know what, that's probably what's going to be happening. And so you notice he finds a Creepjack and says, you know what, all your Ghoular belong to us, and goes and tries to kill a Ghoul. Now, does he actually get one? Well, yes he does, because he used Chain Lightning. So he's got one kill, and he notices that his opponent probably would have tried to Expo, just for the fact that there's Blight there. So he's like, okay, that's something to keep in mind. Sends another Illusion out. I think he used all his charges now. And he's going to creep some more. Actually, use one of the illusions to tank the creeps, whatever. So you notice he's going to creep. That's one of the best things to do when you've got Wyvern. Smartest things to do, the things you have to do, is to be able to transition well. Transitioning from harassing to creeping, back to harassing, and you have to do it flawlessly, and you'll be really, really terrorizing on your opponent. So you notice his Illusion Scout sees, well, there's some statues out, and there's some ghouls out, and he doesn't see anything definitive. he sees the slaughterhouse still working, so he sees, well, you never need more than 2 statues, so that's either a 3rd statue or it's getting destroyer research. Either way, it doesn't matter because he's already getting bats as it is, but it's something to think about, you know. So he's just pumping out bats right now. He realizes that, you know, there's no ground units at all. You know, he sees that all he has is ghouls. His crypt's not really working. So he knows that there's going to be some kind of air-based solution. So that's why he's only making bats right now. Because, you know, he has enough wyvern to kill ghouls nonstop, I'll guarantee you. If his opponent has switched up to fiends, well, guess what? He's got level 3 Breath of Fire, he's got Haze, and he's got level 2 Wolves, and he's got level 1 Tree Lightning. He's got a lot of sort of anti-fiend spells, and, you know, the few wyvern that he does have, of course, will help that as well. So he's really just assuming it's going to be some kind of mass destroyer stuff that he's going to have to counter. And so you're going to see, oh look, he doesn't pick up the items. Rune of the Watcher, and let's see if I can click it. Claws of Attack +9. Neither of them are picked up because he's retarded. And look, there's some more items on the ground. Oh, he picked this one up. Holy crap. Who would have thought? But, yep, no Rune of the Watcher for him. Retard. Alright, so here we go. Now we see a fight's going off. And look, the destroyers are coming up. So it's time to fight. Well, guess what? Bats. GG. Down goes 2. And 3rd one's about to die. Up. Down goes all destroyers. And now you notice the air effect is owning every single ghoul he has. Now, if he could use one more Breath of Fire, he'd kill everything flat out. Can't quite, but still kills the statue. And you notice just how much that owned. Yes, he made S loads of bats, and you know what? It worked. So GG. He used probably around 5 to 6, and he killed 3 statues. Or sorry, 3 destroyers and a statue, and some ghouls, whatever. Although that's attributed to hero spells mostly. You notice just how much bats really pretty much owned. So for those of you who whine about destroyers, well, guess what? Make mass bats, and you can do it, retards. Holy crap! My gosh. So you notice he gets some more mana items. Or sorry, actually gets a potion of healing, and he already bought a scroll of healing. So you notice he's got some good area of effect healing, and he's still got that really strong focus fire. No upgrades for him, which, well, he's low on wood, so I can understand that. But see, this is why my whatever, I take that back. He actually just sent guys off to the gold mine. Otherwise, I would have said, you know, my 18 peon build was smarter. But now you notice right here that even though he's won 2 straight fights, he's forced, 3 TPs now, he still can't fight the undead base. You know why? Because undead bases are way too hard to actually attack. Now see if he picks up some items here. Maybe, maybe not. He picks up more scrolls of healing, and wow, he picked up the items. Who would have thought? So this guy's officially retarded for not picking them up. He's already missed out on Rune of the Watcher, Claws of Attack +9, and Pulse of Strength +2. Well, guess what? He gives a skeleton into his expansion, so he knows that there's an expo. So what he's doing right now is attacking recklessly, because there's no reason to, really. I don't think he actually has liquid fire. Let's find out. I think that's going to be a no on the liquid fire. Let's see. Nope, he's focusing acolytes for no reason. He's going to lose so much stuff to that tower, it's not even funny. And down goes 1. He's trying to blow up some destroyers now. He does kill 1. He's using some chain lightning on ghouls, and he's going to kill the second one right here, if he's smart. And he's not. He's not killing this last destroyer. What a retard. Oh, there you go, I think he got it. You know, he's trying to kill ghouls and trying to kill destroyers as best he can. Not doing a great job, but, you know, doing what he can. He's actually killing the destroyers pretty well, I guess. The coil goes off, and that's about to kill the wyvern. So you notice now he sees bats. He's like, well, crap, that sucks. You know, his Farseer is in bad shape. Yes, he pops a healing scroll, but you know his Farseer is going to die in about 2 seconds. Well, down he goes. See? Now he could have used that Tome of Strength and probably saved his life, but guess what? So guess what? Now the Panda's getting slowed by 2 different towers, and he's getting chased by a level 5 Death Knight. And you know what that means? That means GG, because he does 210 damage in a single nuke. So he uses the haze stuff. He's at over, yeah, he just got the coil and he's still running away. 7 hit points up, down he goes. And now he's got a level 6 Death Knight. So now you notice why it's stupid to attack undead bases, because he just got owned, even though he's winning up till then. 2 destroyers, 3 towers, and 6 ghouls, and a single hero killed his army. Good job, noob. So now he's like, oh, S, and so he's building some towers, because he realizes that, well, I'm going to lose my stuff if I don't. Yeah. So he's rebuilding his heroes painstakingly, both of them level 4, takes a while. Yeah, they're level 4, okay. And, well, here comes Undead. Thanks for the tome, he says. Now he has over 1,000 hit points, and he's going to kill these towers in about 2 seconds flat. And down go the towers. Oh, he cancels up so he doesn't lose more gold than he has to, and doesn't get free experience. And all these peons are going to die now. Good job, noob. Well, he taverns his panda, who is level 5 actually. Not going to do much for him, as you're going to see. He's going to get noobed like a little hacksaw. OMG. Alright. By the way, Blade Master users who hack have pretty much free win against Night Elf. Just FYI. Okay, so he does manage to send most of the peons home, or at least a fair deal of them, or fair amount. There we go. And what that allows him to do is, well, it saves some EXP, saves some gold for, whenever he has to bring peons later. And notice the expansion is still untouched. See, when you bring peons away, your opponent will generally chase them, which leaves your Expo in pretty good shape until he comes back. And now, as he only has 2 units, that's not going to hurt him very much. Well, guess what? Here comes the Air Forces again. I believe it's Wyvern focus time, and Bat Rider ownage time. So, go Bat Riders. They blow up on separate bats, or on separate Gargs, I guess. And now they're focusing down this Destroyer. He's not really doing very well because there is Coil, and Destroyers are doing pretty good damage, really. But guess what? He has a pair of bats that he could use right here, but isn't. Good job, noob. And, well, we're going to see what he does pretty soon. So the Farseer comes out, and now he's kind of focusing down the Destroyer, trying to run his Wyvern away. And, well, guess what? Here's the Bat Riders, and down it goes. So not quite cost efficient in the fact that, Destroyers cost 300, 2 bats cost 320. But it's still EXP, so that's pretty good. Now you see the Death Knight's mana is enough to coil another peon, but it's not really worth it, considering that 2 coils cost a mana potion, and 2 peons costs less than a mana potion. So that's a bad choice, to actually coil peons all the time. Unless you're at full mana, then you regenerate anyway, but for the most part, that's a bad choice. So you see that there's still more Air Forces by Undead, and so, Orc's just massing bats, because that's all he has to do to counter this force, as long as he micros well. So you notice he blows up a bat, and Coil just barely saves the Destroyer. And now you notice that as his Death Knight levels up more and more, he's going to have some more and more ownage units. You see the Breath of Fire stuff completely owns that Garg. Even though it was Garg against Wyvern, hero spells can change that. So that was like ownage GG noob right there. And you notice that there are some coilable Wyvern, but they're just not taking the coil. Alright, I guess one of them is just over 300. The other one was Salve, though. It could have been coiled, but wasn't, because he's a noob. LOL. Alright. So really, he could go and coil harass. You notice he does that right there, and coils one, and then focus it with the Garg, and down it goes. And he could do that with the second one if he really wanted to. He probably could. You notice he resummons the Wolves as he does hit level 5. And the Wolves are going to go own some Acolytes. So right now, let's go ahead and pause this. Let's pause at 1610, which is now. Alright, so we're at 1610, and we're paused. Okay, so I've said this a few times, but all an Orc is doing now is he realizes, you know what? I can kill him if he goes Fiends or Ghouls, because I have level 3 area of effect, both my heroes, and Wolves own Ghouls. Like no tomorrow. Their damage is higher, their hit points are higher, their attack speed's higher, I guess. I don't know. But generally, Wolves own Ghouls, they're also resummonable, etc., and they don't cost gold. Whereas the Ghouls, well, they do and whatnot, and they're not exactly resummonable, you just have to build more, but that costs gold. Anyway, so Fiends won't do it because he's got 180 damage to Lightning, he's got Wolves, he's only got 1 Crypt, so that's not really going to handle it for him. And he's got the Breath of Fire coolness, which also owns a lot. He's got tons of anti-Garg, as you can notice. He can Chain Lightning and use the Panda AoE. So really, all that Undead is left with is Mass Destroyers. I mean, if you think about it, that's pretty much what he's forced on his opponent. That all he can do now is pretty much Mass Destroyers. And so he's making bats, because bats are a fairly effective counter to Destroyers. They're not the best, but the fact that he'll keep getting EXP from it, while his opponent won't, and the fact that he has an expansion, he's able to keep that up. And he's able to keep up, constantly putting down dual bestiary bats. And now he is getting Wyvern, as you notice, because Wyvern are actually, I was going to actually say that, is that Wyvern are a good sort of counter to Destroyers when they don't have tons of mana. As you notice, he's killed everything that comes out as soon as it comes out. So there's no chance for the Undead to really get a lot of units. And once there's a lot of Destroyers, that's when they own Wyvern. But when there's only like 2, it's no contest, and the Orc will win. So, being able to do that is effective for him, is being able to keep the numbers low. Although that one harassment was very ineffective and it almost lost them the game, because it shifted the momentum back to Undead. Being able to tavern the Panda and being able to pull out the bats very quickly is what saved it for him. Let's go ahead and unpause this, and we'll see how the rest of this game turns out. So let's unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Yes, I'm rambling on about Orc anti-air. Sue me for it. At least it's some Undead in there. I'm going to try to find an Undead win, and I'll tell you about it. But I haven't found any yet. There's another Orc vs. Undead win. That Orc wins, we'll see. Anyway, so you notice he is sending the Wolves against the Acolytes, as I said. Destroyers can eat them, however they aren't. There you go, he eats one. He gets a little bit of mana for it, it's always nice. But you notice even with the statue, it's still got negative regen. It's total imbalance, oh my god. But, whatever, what can you do? It's total hacks. So he's still got that Wolf chilling out, which he could send and own an Acolyte, and guess what? That's what he's doing. So, the Acolyte's gonna die. Pretty much. And, well, down it goes. I've killed an Acolyte. Okay, thanks. GG, no re-noob. LOL. Alright, anyway. He's just shifting focus, hitting Acolytes. He's not really expecting a lot of kills, but since towers don't give you XP, who cares? Just do it. That's definitely one of the most annoying things you can do against human and against, really against any race, because there's no great way to just get rid of them. There's no sort of base defense that can really own that stuff. You notice all that blowing up. Guess what? Chilling and Breath of Fire owned every single guard there, and now it's just Wyvern versus Destroyers, and he can do it because he can focus. And you notice that they're dying rather quickly. Unfortunately, well, the Wyvern do too, and that's what I was talking about before with when there's at least, like 4 Destroyers. That's when the Orb of Corruption actually owns, because there is a bit of a damage type, and the Death Knight can coil. And as long as it's like a land environment, like I said, when there's no lag, that's when it can work out pretty well for him. So, you notice that the Farseer has to eat a potion because he was getting hit, and the Death Knight can get away just barely. He can't quite haze it, and so, there's no hazing. And we can't kill the guard quite, so darn. You noob. LOL. Alright. So, to actually sort of talk about the game, what happened in that last battle was the bats all blew up, but the bats didn't focus well enough, and they didn't really kill any destroyers. He had to focus down on the destroyers and really knock them out. You notice right here, the aftermath of the battle finally gets to knock him out. But before then, he really wasn't doing much. He just kind of got all the Gargs to low HP, which didn't do a whole lot. What he needs to do is get the Panda to a high mana count. His Farseer's about to die, by the way, but just barely gets away because the Death Knight's out of mana. So another Bat Rider blows up. I think I killed a Garg. Another one can blow up soon and kill another Garg. You notice he's expanding because he still has the edge. He can still win any fight. And as I've been saying, keeping the unit count low, there's not a whole lot that can kill a Great Hall very quickly. So you notice the Panda goes and uses the Breath of Fire pretty poorly. Right now, he shouldn't really be coming in with his hero. He's just wasting mana because he doesn't have Brilliance, so he's going to run out of mana pretty quickly. But, oh look, Bat Riders. Bam. Oh, down goes your Gargs. Well, guess what? His Farseer's about to die, too. How nice. Oh, guess what? Under 200 under 210, and down he goes. So that's why you have to be more careful with your heroes, because guess what? Level 7 Death Knight owns you. Straight up. So, yes, be careful with your heroes against undead, because they will take pleasure in nuking the S out of you. And it's going to happen all the time. So you notice what's happening here? He returns wood, so that he has a little bit of extra wood, and he's actually setting them off to go mine some gold as his expo. From the one expo in the bottom middle over to the sort of mid-right, he's maynarding his units over. Death Knight has enough mana for another coil, and he scouts again with with a Bat Rider, and sees there's still no expo, so he's like, sweet, I'm in good shape. But you notice that, so you saw that place go down, every, 2 minutes, he'd send something over and try to scout it. Breath of Fire was retarded right there. He's killing all his mana on the Panda, so that's dumb of him, but, that's what can you do? It's total imbalance, right? But, that's him being dumb for the most part. So he's got some guys on gold. That is his new expo, etc. Alright. So, his mindset is, well, I'm still going to mass bats, because that's my best bet against destroyers, because it's not really hard to get, at least for the most part. If you're not making ghouls, it's pretty easy to make some destroyers. So, destroyers can own Wyvern pretty well, because Wyvern don't have AoE, and the destroyers are magic immune, except they can still get coiled, which sucks. So, he's just massing bats, because they don't get owned by destroyers in the DK, because they have enough hit points to tank a coil, and destroyers can't kill them in time, even with a coil in there. So, he's using bats. They can eventually just push through all the destroyers and eventually get it. He's putting down a third bestiary, because he does have 3 mining bases, although the one's about out. It's still enough money that he can just churn out Bat Riders nonstop. And so that's pretty much exactly what he's doing. He does have a level 6 Panda, and he's just got his level 5 Farseer back. You notice how long that took to actually get that back, over a minute. Uses the Clarity, picks up potions, finally, gets a potion of healing. Sells part of the Clarity and gets himself, sells part of the healing salve, and gets himself a Clarity. And he just has the Bat Rider fleet floating around. He has 2 Wyvern just for that end focus fire. Since the Panda can't attack air, he wants something that, if in case there's a 5 hit point destroyer left, they can actually hit it with something besides his Farseer. Because the Undead's going to love to chase his Farseer away. Undead could actually use a Lich right here to actually slow down the bats and nuke and whatnot. But here we go. Use the speed scroll so he can get in there faster. I wouldn't really use bats on the Gargs, but what can you do? you notice that those destroyers all lost most of their hit points, and now they're all dying. He could use some armor upgrades for the destroyers. You notice that the destroyer is owning. You notice it just knocked out 2 right there, 2 Wyvern. The DK is really low, it's getting chased around. And the Panda even got himself some Gosu ultimate usage hacks. Right here he could Cyclone, and does, and he says good game, because he knows he'll die here. So he's surrounded, almost. Gets a coil off, and is level 8. He probably could still survive for a while, but he realizes it's over and leaves. You know, you might as well make a fighting chance, but there's no chance with those high-level heroes. Even a level 8 Death Knight can't just solo an Orc army. Not without a source of income, because all he had, since his gold mine collapsed, something to realize. When your main runs out, theirs does too. That's something to realize, so that, you know, when your mine runs out, remember that he's going to be looking for an expansion. And since the Undead never really was able to creep and get his Expo, well, he never got that chance for the Expo, since the one spot that he did creep, or kept scouting. You know, there was no sort of hidden expansion kind of thing that Undead got to do. Now, my advice for Sunday was to get some armor upgrades, because that would have helped him immensely, and also to keep one statue down, just to heal a little bit, just because you can. I mean, you know, why not? Because, I mean, the Bat Riders have a lot of AoE. That's a lot of what makes them somewhat strong. And being able to have that little bit of healing from the statues, or even a healing scroll, you know, that could have done a whole lot for him. Also, something that he should have done is not as bait as many goals once he realized that his opponent was going power air with the tech. As soon as you see that, you stop making goals. Now, I can't say for certain that he did make any more or didn't make any more goals, but I think he made a few. I don't know. There's no guarantees. But judging by the number that died and the number that was still left, he probably still made some more. And so he should have really switched up to dual slaughterhouse and mass destroyers and just overpower him. Yes, of course, bats can hurt, but that's what you use coil for. And, you know, that's what you get some armor upgrades for, because armor upgrades and AMS both affect Bat Riders. There's something to think about, is that you can actually AMS the statue, and then morph it to a destroyer, and it keeps the AMS. Just FYI. And this will be the end of this commentary. So, this is Phreak signing out. Goodbye.